So I come to tell you He's alive, to tell you that He dries every tear that falls.
You know, when I got married, here's what I learned. I learned that what is hers, and what is mine is hers. Hey, this is Clint Louie coming to you with 5 minutes from friendship. Thank you for joining with me today. Actually, I've been thinking along the lines of stewardship. And in the Sunday school class that meets here in this auditorium, we just began a series on stewardship. And what stewardship means, whenever we use that word stewardship, we're usually thinking about money. And we usually start thinking about, stewardship, my tithes and offerings, that type of thing, money. But what we discover from the Bible is that stewardship has to do with all of life. All of life. Not just money, but what we possess and what we have. When we study the Bible, we actually discover that we're not owners, we're stewards. What we have, God has given to us. He owns it. And we are stewards. Stewards. So let's talk a little bit about the stewardship of life. The stewardship of life. Because your life and my life will be blessed and fulfilled as we discover our God-given purpose, as we discover that we are stewards of the Lord's possession. So the stewardship of life. The stewardship of life. The Bible tells us in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter number 3, he tells us a little something here about why we were made and God's plan and purpose for His people. He says in 1 Corinthians 3 and verse 9, "For we are laborers together with God. Ye are God's husbandry. Ye are God's building." He tells us that we are laborers together with God. When we consider the stewardship of life, we must first of all consider that we are laborers with God. We're co-laborers. In other words, God is doing the work. What I'm to do is to get in on God's purpose. I'm to get in on what God has. Let's take, for example, if you are a business owner, you own the business, it's yours. And then you hire a manager to come in and run that business. Now the manager, his job is to help you. His job is to carry out the wishes of the owner. His job is to do what the owner wants done. That's the manager's role. He's not to come in and turn things around and change things to suit his need. It's not his business. It's the owner's business, but this other person is just simply managing it. Well, stewards, we're managers, but the Lord is the owner. And so my role is, let's find out God's design. Let's find out what God desires. What is God's design for your marriage? What is God's design for you as a parent or for your children? What is God's design for the church? What is God's design? See, I'm a co-laborer with God. And then the second thing about stewardship we discover is that God is the owner. He's the owner. We're just the stewards. We'll go back to our shop owner again. There's one owner, and then there's the manager, the steward. Well, you and I are to be stewards over God's possession. So really, if I think about, yes, my money, that's money God's given to me. I'm to be a steward of that. God has given me that possession, but now I need to be a good manager. What about the house we live in, the home we have? What about our opportunity, the time of day? Did you know time is a gift from God? Today you'll never get back. God is the owner. We're stewards. But the third thing I want to give you quickly is that there will be a reckoning day. God's going to take into account our stewardship. Now, when I got saved, all my sins are paid for. I will not stand and give an answer for my sins because Jesus paid for my sins with His blood. But I will give answer for my stewardship. I'm going to give an account to God for my stewardship. So this is the stewardship of life. This is Clint Louie. Thank you for being with me today.